Today exemplified why it is important to revisit old running shoes. I was absolutely shocked at how much I loved the Anta Zone 2 in today's run.
Don't you wanna anda? Don't you wanna? You wanna anda? Don't you wanna anda? Don't you wanna? You wanna anda? Don't you wanna anda? Don't you wanna? You wanna anda? Don't you wanna anda? Don't you wanna? You wanna anda?
It is certainly the case that I've been sleeping on the Anta Zone 2, and there's one very good reason for it. I ordered this in a size 9.5. That is too small for me, but I was doing an intentional experiment on Anta as a brand to see if I could get along with a 9.5 in this brand. And this was around the time that I was discovering that more of my shoes were fitting better in a size 10 than in a size 9.5. So, despite the failure of that experiment, it gave me the learning that I do, in fact, need a 10 in Anta at least for most models and probably for most brands as well. So this is one of those shoes that helped me on my running journey to discover what my actual size is, but that leaves me with the Zone 2 in the wrong size. It's just a little bit too small. So I'm always hesitant to wear it, and today was no different. I laced it up, and immediately I was having some rubbing on the medial side of my forefoot, the front of my forefoot, going a little bit into the big toe, but mainly just around that big fat pad there. And whatever, it was a little irritating, but that was more than made up for in the midsole experience. And I forgot how quick this feels underfoot as well. So let's talk about the run a little bit because the context is also important. Today sucked yet again. I have some really bad hip pain along the lateral side of my quad and hip flexor, and this has been going on for a little over a week now. Today was better than yesterday. Hopefully not as good as tomorrow, as the saying goes, but it definitely still hurt regardless of it being slightly better than yesterday. And I, have another run to do today in the afternoon. So hopefully I'm able to hold up and just soldier on through that later. But the run actually went really well. I was able to warm up a little bit quicker today than yesterday. Like yesterday, it took me forever to warm up and get into at least some sort of rhythm. But today's run, again, was still slower. But what I was noticing the most is that this feels very assistive, and I think it has a slightly lower drop than the Puma Deviate Pure. If I remember correctly, this is a 6mm drop, and it feels like not an 8 at least. Maybe it's a 7, maybe it's a 6. I doubt it's much lower of a drop than that, but it felt much better to run in this today because it did feel like it was offloading my hips a little bit more than the Deviate Pure was yesterday. So the run was like 13.1, and as I got deeper and deeper into the run, the pace increased. That's how I tested it today. I was mainly focused on running carefully and not paying the closest attention to the shoe. And especially since this is a shoe that does kind of disappear on foot, even though it's a half size too small for me. So what's good with the Anta Zone 2? What is it? Well, it is Anta's Xiaoyan. Basically, it's like their super trainer slash daily trainer, but it's really energetic for what you would consider a daily trainer, where this is probably quite a bit more energetic than something like the Evo SL or the Puma Deviate Pure. Or like the Azura or the Skechers Aero Razor. This is in a league above those shoes for energy return, the way that I'm experiencing it. But it's not, I wouldn't say it's like quite as good in the rocker department. The geometry in this, I don't think is as floaty and nice as something like the Xiaoyan, and I also don't think the foam rises quite to the height that the foam in the Mega Blast does. But this is for sure on the super trainer side of the trainer to super trainer continuum, where something like the Evo SL sits in the middle of that, the Deviate Pure sits in the middle of that, and either of those shoes could feel more like a daily trainer than a super trainer sometimes. This feels more like a super trainer. And what I really like about the foam that Anta's using here is it's not extremely high stack. This feels like it's the same stack as the foam as the Evo SL, but it feels like it's almost more supportive. It doesn't compress like, or it doesn't fatigue as much over the course of a run. And it doesn't rely on being overly firm. This is still a very soft and squishy foam underfoot. And it feels just as energetic at any pace as the Evo SL, and it's more compressive, so it feels like you're getting more energy return out of it, whether you are or aren't. There's more like sink in and bounce outwards rather than the like dink 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 of the Evo SL. And it definitely feels a little bouncier than the Puma Deviate Pure. Again, maybe not as bouncy as the Mega Blast, but it's really, really solid foam. I mean, I would say that this is faster feeling underfoot for me than the Mizuno Neo Vista 3. And this is light too. I mean, granted, it is in a smaller size, but this is under 200 grams. I forget what it is exactly. This shoe specifically weighs 193 grams, and that's very light. I mean, it's not quite as light per stack height ratio, like weight per stack ratio, as the Xiaoyan. That's still like the king of weight per stack in a trainer, being 200 grams and 41 in the heel. And I don't think that this is quite as tall as the Xiaoyan, but it is lighter. I mean, and it is a smaller size, but it is lighter. And it actually, even though like 193 grams, you wouldn't think you'd be able to feel the difference between that and 200 grams. But I think the also the smaller size and the smaller, like more narrow profile of this shoe makes it feel even lighter than that 193 on foot. And it really does feel phenomenal to run in. It is just so easy to turn over the legs in this. I know people have had issues with the outsole wearing, and I just haven't. Like, there is not a single problem with this outsole so far, and this is at 70 miles, 70 plus miles at this point. I think like 73. And yeah, I'm just like, there's no wear on the outsole yet. Now, for everybody watching, this is important for you to note for this channel generally. I don't wear on my outsole super heavily. And like whenever I do notice wear on an outsole, I will be pretty critical of it because my outsoles generally wear very slowly. Like this is supposed to be, according to like people that know what they're talking about and do shoe reviews, they've all kind of noted that the outsole is bad on this, and I've even noted that the grip is bad on this compared to other shoes just generally. Like, I don't know why it's so bad, but even on the loose gravel on the road outside or right in front of my house, this isn't quite as nice to run on that surface as other shoes because it is a little slipperier. So I agree with the general assessment that the outsole on this isn't good, but I have not had durability issues on this one specifically yet. I'll keep you all apprised though. I might actually find myself running in this a little bit more because of how well today's run went in this for how injured I actually am. The foam is just really nice and it fits. I didn't have to fiddle with it too much, even though it fits small. And like, I do have a little bit of crowding at the big toe on my right foot, and I did have that sort of friction slash potential for blistering on my left foot on the medial like ball of foot. It's not perfect because I got it in the wrong size, and that's why I've been so hesitant to run in it. But what this is fantastic. It's a truly fantastic shoe that I've been way too sleeping on. Like, I need to run in this more because it is that good. A little thing to note, I had a slight, and this didn't result in any damage to my body, but I had a slight amount of rubbing around the heel collar today, and that could be a sizing issue as well, like the getting a little bit of heel lift. I'm more likely to get heel lift if a shoe is too small than if it's too big, and the reason for that is that the whatever the pivot point when you're landing, maybe you're landing on the rocker, the part of the shoe that you're supposed to land on will like lift the back up more or create more wiggle. It's like a pivot point thing. I can't explain it very well, but I've only really ever experienced heel lift in 9.5s, not in 10s. That's a thing that I think sizing solved for me entirely. And so this is like, I think that's really all that's going on there. And again, it didn't cause any issues, but it's something worth noting. Another thing that is not an issue for me, I've noted on this channel several times, I wear toe socks. Toe socks are more breathable than regular socks. They run cooler generally. This upper is like the upper in the Adios 9 or the Adios Pro 4. It is warm. It is not a great upper overall. So if you are highly susceptible to shoes that run hot, this one's going to run hot. Be mindful of that. But this is frankly a shoe that if I had gotten it in the correct size initially, would be in the conversation with the Dynafish Xiaoyan and the Leaning Red Hair 9 Ultra. Now, I don't know if it would be right up there between those two shoes for some of the best shoes ever made, but it certainly would be in that conversation for me, based on today's run and based on other runs that I've had in this. I've loved it pretty much every time I've run in it. The other thing that I've noted several times in this shoe that, again, I really think is probably a sizing thing is because of how soft the foam is and there's not enough of a stabilizing element in the midsole, it'll collapse inward while I'm running when I pronate, which is not itself an issue, but my foot is not really fully secured to the platform. And so the upper will tug inwards and my foot will slide. And so it'll sort of slide off the platform inwards, right? So the amount of compression in the foam plus the too small upper where I can't really tie it super tightly or else I'll get either lace bite or some sort of constriction from the upper, some sort of like discomfort from the upper. If I were able to lock it down super tight, then that wouldn't be an issue. And I probably would be able to lock it down properly if it were in a larger size. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but that's just been my experience of uppers. And so I have to leave it a little bit looser than I would generally leave a shoe. And so then my foot slides on pronation. Right, so taking corners in this does not work for me, and I think generally probably this wouldn't be quite as stable as either the Xiaoyan or maybe it would be around equivalent to the Red Hair 9 Ultra because it's a very unstable shoe. So that's one other like small issue to note, but the foam is really just very nice. It's very nice, very bouncy. It is a true proper super foam too. It's not the nitro foam that's in the DV8 Pure. It's not old school Light Strike Pro. It's a softer feeling version of old school Light Strike Pro. It's a super foam. It's an actual super foam, and this is a shoe that I think you could run any distance in. So I'm gushing over here. The Anta Zone 2 I've been sleeping on for sure, but I won't anymore. I'll wake up. I am awake. All right. Thank you very much for your attention to the Anta Zone 2. And as always, stay in motion. You are a dog, and you're obscuring. You're an obstacle in my path. You're an obstacle dog. Yes, you're very cute.